The devlog formula is broken and everyone is still copying it. Quick cuts, meme sound effects, loud fake rage, I made X in 7 days, all almost identical. Let me guess, you've seen this before. Different channels, different games, but the exact same format. Same pacing, same jokes, same I made this in X days. It's like everyone is using the same devlog template and just swapping out the game. And it used to be great. But now it feels like we're just copying pasting energy. Fast cuts instead of insights, fake chaos instead of clarity. 10 minutes of jokes instead of the actual journey. Let's talk about why it's broken and what we can do instead. Before the fast cuts, before the meme spam, before the I made Minecraft in 24-hour videos, there was just one guy. Danny didn't invent game dev on YouTube, but he defined a new era of it. His videos weren't just about making games, they were a spectacle. High energy, instant hooks, edits that grab your attention and never let go. He turned game development, which is often slow and quiet, into something that felt loud, fun and chaotic. And the moment those videos blew up, something shifted. Everyone, myself included, saw it and thought, oh, that's the style you need if you want to grow. So we copied it. The pacing, the fake rage, the zooms on bugs, the self-deprecating humor with a splash of I'm losing my mind thrown in. You can trace the explosion of this formula back to around 2019-2020, then it went viral, Bargy Rye, Polymorphs and later others followed. Everyone was building games and turning them into YouTube bangers. And it worked. The formula worked. Why wouldn't it? It's fast, it's entertaining, it hits all the algorithm boxes. Humor, speed, relatability and novelty. It's literally YouTube crack. And there's a reason it hit so hard. It made game dev look fun. For years, tutorials and devlogs were mostly quiet code walkthroughs or dry screen recordings. Suddenly, we had creators making game dev feel like a Mr. Beast challenge. People who had never opened Unity were watching these just for entertainment. That's insane reach. It inspired a whole generation of game dev YouTubers. It lowered the barrier of entry, not just for making games, but for showing them off. No one cared if your game was unfinished. As long as your video was funny, you were in. I'm not saying that's bad. That era mattered. It brought energy into an industry that needed it. It gave solo devs a platform. It gave the idea of building something yourself feel exciting. But when something works that well, it gets copied. And then copied again. And again. Until it stops being fresh. And just becomes a template. I get why we all copied it. The Dani-style devlog was genius when it was new. But now it has become a formula. And like most formulas, it's starting to become really bland. Both for creators and viewers. Fast cuts, screaming text, jokes every 10 seconds. A devlog where the actual game dev gets maybe 30 seconds of real attention. The problem isn't that this style exists, the problem is that it's become the only style. It's oversaturated. You've seen this video 100 times from different creators, but it always feels the same, because the algorithm started rewarding it, and we all played along. But now, none of it stands out. The titles blur, the thumbnails blur, the content blurs. You're watching a new devlog, but your brain is already skipping ahead. Because you already know the joke is coming, you already know the pacing, and you already know the formula. It's performative. Let's be honest, a lot of this style isn't even about making games anymore. It's about pretending to lose your mind while doing it. You don't show what you really felt, you show what gets clicks. It's not vulnerability, it's a performance of vulnerability. And over time, that creates a weird disconnection between the dev and viewer. You're not laughing with them, you're watching them act like a character. Weeks of building gets crushed into a 15-second montage. Struggles are skipped, design choices go unexplained, systems just appear. And you start to forget that game development is hard, messy and non-linear. It makes game dev look like magic, but the real magic is in the messy part. When you skip over that, viewers don't get the whole story and new devs don't see what it actually takes. It punishes depth. If your devlog doesn't scream, joke and explode every 20 seconds, it probably doesn't go viral. That sucks, because deeper content, the kind that actually teaches something or shares a real story, often gets buried. We built an environment where loud beats real, and if you're not performing, it feels like you're doing it wrong. Even if your work is meaningful, personal or amazing, it might not fit the algorithm, so you start to doubt it. But here's the twist. When people do find those deeper videos, they stay longer, they comment more, they connect harder. Which means the problem isn't the content, it's the expectation. This formula wasn't made to tell a story, it was made to chase attention. And we're starting to feel the cost of that. I made those kind of devlogs too. Fast-paced edits, meme humor, jokes I didn't even know if I found that funny, but it was the formula. And everyone else was doing it, and it was working for them. And I get why it became the norm. It's entertaining, it gets views, but somewhere along the way, I stopped enjoying it. It started to feel like I was just performing. Like the goal wasn't to share the truth about making a game, but to keep the energy high enough to not lose attention. Sometimes I'd spend more time thinking about how to present a feature instead of whether it was good design or not. I was cutting out anything that didn't look exciting, even if it was an important part of development. And what's wild is, those were often the parts I learned the most from. But they didn't fit the format, so they never made it in. I wasn't making devlogs to reflect my progress anymore. I was copying what had worked for other people. And probably the biggest red flag was that I didn't even like watching these types of devlogs anymore. I'd click on one, hear the same music, the same jokes, the same jump cuts, and just close the tab. But when I found something slower, more thoughtful, more real, I stayed. It didn't need to be dramatic, it just had to be honest. That's when I realized I had to start shifting how I made my own videos. To focus less on grabbing attention and more on telling a story. Not a perfect one, not always a clean and catchy one, but something I meant. And I think I'm not the only one. Because if I'm feeling this, maybe viewers are too. I'm not just a game dev, I'm also someone who watches these devlogs. And over time I've realized that I don't really like the fast-paced, meme-heavy ones anymore. After a while, I wasn't learning anything. I wasn't connecting with the person behind the project. So I stopped watching them. And I found myself gravitating toward devlogs that were slower, more thoughtful, where the creator actually explained their process, their challenges, their mindset. Viewers want their why behind the work. One of the biggest shifts I've seen and felt is that people want insight and connection, not just progress. It's not enough to say, I added farming. Cool, but why farming? What design problems were you solving? What didn't work out at first? When creators walk us through the thinking, not just the doing, it sticks. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to make. They want the whole story, not just highlights. Most devlogs right now are just highlight reels, but there is more to game dev than that. There are days where nothing works, and there are weeks you spend your entire time tweaking a single system. That's not boring. That's the real story. And when someone shares the full arc, from doubt to breakthrough, it hits harder than any meme ever could. Viewers want a voice, not a performance. The best devlogs I've seen lately, they don't shout. They don't fake chaos. They just walk you through the full process, like a friend showing you something they're building. And even if the editing is simple, it works, because it feels honest. That's the kind of voice I want to follow. That's the kind of voice I want to be. They want real value, not just vibes. Fast-paced devlogs feel good in the moment, but I rarely remember them. Meanwhile, the ones where someone explains a hard design choice or walks me through the prototype logic, those stick with me. They make me want to open Unity. They make me want to build. And maybe I'm not the only one feeling this way. Because the devlogs I return to show the full process. Wins, losses, learnings. Not the loudest ones, the realest ones. I'm not saying we all should become boring professors with hour-long lectures on ECS and shader maths. I'm saying there's a better middle ground. One where devlogs can both be meaningful and engaging. Give your devlogs a theme, not just a task list. Most devlogs are just feature checklists. I added a quest system, then I fixed this bug, then I made this sword. Cool, but what ties it all together? Start with a question, a struggle, a lesson, like why players got bored after 10 minutes and how I fixed it. Or why I scrapped my entire combat system after 3 months. This instantly gives the video a reason to exist. It's no longer just what I did, it's what I figured out. Show the thinking, not just the doing. You don't need to show every second of coding or Unity fixing, but if you made a decision, share the reasoning behind it. Why did you pick that UI layout? Why didn't the first boss work? Why did the players ignore the dialogue system? These are things everyone making games wrestles with. Sharing them makes your devlog not just personal, but universal. Then he made a loud, chaotic dev work, because it was him. Or maybe it didn't work, because he decided to quit. But when 100 people copy it, it turns into a parody of itself. The truth is, you don't need to yell to be memorable. You need a voice. One that's actually yours. Let people hear your doubts. Your, I'm not sure this is gonna work. Let them see your flow. Your wins, your restarts. That's where you build trust. Explore different formats. Break the mold. The default devlog formula isn't the only way. Try a cinematic build-up story. Try a deep dive, try a behind the scenes video with voiceover and chill music. What matters is that it fits your story, not someone else's format. Be educational without being dry. You don't need to explain every line of code, but if you solve something interesting, a game feel problem, a save system design, a tricky player feedback loop, share that. That's real value. That's what viewers remember. Think of your devlog as a developer diary with lessons. One that helps others build better. not just laugh harder. Make the viewer feel something. Entertain? Yes, but also inspire. Make them want to build. Make them feel understood. Make them think. Some of the best devlogs I've seen made me pause the video and open my own project. They didn't just fill the time, they lit a fire. Don't make content to go viral. Make something worth rewatching. Something that makes someone go, that's exactly what I need to hear today. The Dani style devlog isn't bad. It was creative, exciting and new once, but now it's not new. It's just normal. And when everyone's using the same formula, it stops being a creative choice and becomes a default. But if this style is you, genuinely you, then keep doing it. But if you're just following it because you think you have to, then maybe it's time to try something else. But devlogs don't have to be like that. They can be thoughtful, emotional, raw. They can mean something. Your game isn't just mechanics. It's the mindset behind it, the lessons, the doubts, the decisions. Those are the things no speed montage can capture. So here's what I think. You don't need to be loud to be heard. You don't need to be fast to be worth watching. And you don't need to follow the algorithm to make something great. Be someone we haven't seen yet. Be you. If this made you think, helped you in a way or inspired you, consider subscribing to see my upcoming videos and devlogs.